Okay, let's do this. If somebody's ever told you, listen, you're great and you just need to believe that you deserve love, and your response is, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, then this dating advice is for you. Dating. The painful social ritual of gradually and strategically revealing all the grossest things about yourself. There's a lot about love and dating that I don't understand, mostly all of it, but these are a few bizarre tricks that really helped me as a very anxious person in dating. We're gonna talk about sex. We're gonna talk about learning to trust yourself and other bullshit. We're gonna talk about my one biggest regret in dating. Yeah, I'm already not looking forward to the comments section of this video. Let's do it. I've been dating for a while. I feel like I've been dating my whole damn life, and I actually have a boyfriend right now. I don't know why I said it that way. He's a very, very nice boy. He's a very good boy. But this video is not about him. This video is about all the I dated before, because I really believe that finding the right person is really just about like getting better and faster at eliminating and identifying the wrong people. Like getting better at that. If you know somebody who really struggles to trust themselves, trust their gut, trust their instincts in dating, this video is especially for them, especially for a lot of women. And for every dude who is gonna comment on this video, they're gonna be like, Caroline, you're overthinking it. Listen, congratulations. I'm so happy to hear that your mind is a place of sanity and stability. What is that like? But for everyone else out there, here, I made a video for you. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you've got a different opinion, feel free to share it. Please, I do ask you, try to share it in a way that's not gonna make me cry. Tip number one that nobody wants me to say. Have you ever heard the advice to never judge a book by its cover? Interesting advice. I disagree. I would say always judge a book by its cover. That's why they make covers for the books, is to tell you what's in the book. It kind of gives you a clue. Now, hear me out. You have to do this a very specific way. The hardest thing in dating is learning to balance like trusting your gut while balancing that with still like giving people a chance and giving them the benefit of the doubt. But you don't want to give people a chance so much that you're erasing what your gut already knew. It's kind of both. I firmly believe that all the information you need to know about a person is there in the beginning. It is all there in the beginning. You just don't know like what's a clue yet. It is all there in the beginning. I actually kind of think that like on a dating app, all the information you need to know about someone is in their first message to you. Tell me I'm wrong. So for example, you see a guy, I'm talking about guys because that's who I dated. You see a guy who dresses a certain way, and because of the way he dresses, you judge him as being like kind of a boy or whatever, or a player. I don't come to that conclusion for no reason. It's based on my experience. My experience with a lot of guys who dress this way is that it often correlates to treating me this way. So you don't want to completely ignore your experience. What I do is I try to consciously note, okay, I'm making an assumption about this person based on superficial information. I'm judging a book by its cover, and I'm assuming that this person is going to treat me this way. However, I am staying open to being proven wrong. I'm open to the fact that that may be a completely false assumption. So it's like holding two truths at once. You have to stay open to being proven wrong, because of course, sometimes we make stupid covers for a good book. Of course that happens. People judge my book cover all the time. But the key, I think, is to like not completely gaslight yourself out of what you've already observed. Your experience is worth a lot, and I think that's a really key part of learning to trust your own instincts is I'm not gonna write people off based on my experience and my gut and my instinct, but I'm also not going to pretend like I never knew it. I think this really helps if you're a really empathetic person who's willing to, like, I can kind of explain away anything anyone does to me. I can kind of justify anything anyone does to me, no matter how terrible it is, because I can understand maybe where they're coming from, and that can land you in a really dangerous place. So if you're inclined to like over empathize, over excuse people's behavior, then you may need to do this. Judge that freaking book by its cover, and also be open to the fact that you may be wrong, and then like approach with curiosity. But don't not look at the cover. The cover's there for a reason. The cover is information on it. You should look at it for sure. Like literally always. Okay, moving on. Okay, I'd like to take a moment to talk about something I don't usually talk about on YouTube. I keep it pretty PG here. But we do need to talk about kisses. Okay? Kisses. When to give the kisses. Who to kiss. When to kiss. Should I kiss? Let me say this. If anyone has a opinion about how or when or who you kiss, they're a pervert. That is none of their damn business. And I really don't think there's a right answer of the timeline. Like, I really believe that if somebody likes you for your heart and soul and mind, it kind of doesn't matter. And if somebody is just using you for your kisses, it kind of doesn't matter when it happens. I don't think you're gonna trick someone into like sticking around longer by playing some kind of game. However, if you're like me, I got really tripped up trying to figure out what people's intentions were with me. It felt really hard to decipher, like, is this guy just here for the kisses? And so if you find yourself in that conundrum, this is what I'll say. It's not dissimilar to like, you got a bunch of friends, you're making all these friends, and you're always inviting them over to your beach house. You got the best beach house, and people love hanging out at the beach house. And one day you're like, huh, I can't really tell if my friends just like me for my beach house. And what I would say to that is stop inviting them to the beach house. I bet you're gonna figure out pretty fast who's there for what. Don't invite them to the beach house. And it's not about playing a game. It's just about like, you're gonna find out pretty quickly if someone is also interested in your friendship, in your mind, in your heart. Some people are gonna disagree with me on this, and that's okay, but I found it really helpful for discerning. The way that this does not work is like, you're inviting them to the beach house, you're inviting them to the beach house, you're inviting them to the beach house, and then you stop and try and like see how they react. Because A, they always just take it as a challenge. They're just gonna take it as a challenge like, well, now I'm gonna get re-invited to the beach house and I'm gonna show you, like, no, it doesn't work when you do it in the middle. And it also is kind of weird behavior, like, why are you pulling back? That does feel like a game. To me, it's more just like, let's just work on hanging out and being friends, and eventually, if I feel safe with you, you can maybe come to the beach house. I would also say that, kisses, I think can kind of be a crutch in dating somebody new who you don't know, and there's a lot of awkward moments, especially when you've met someone from an app, and like there's just so much awkwardness when you're getting to know a stranger off the street. It can be really easy, like you just crave comfort and relaxation and intimacy when there isn't any yet. And I think that kissing can be a way of like forcing in some intimacy before there actually really is any. It's a crutch. I would never say don't do it. I don't think there's a right or wrong way, but for me it became important to be really honest with myself about like, why did I want to kiss someone? Was it because I felt insecure about my personality and kissing with someone where I felt secure? Was it because I thought I was losing their attention? Was it because things felt awkward? I think it really helps to be honest with yourself about like, why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you want to and it feels correct? Or are you doing it because it feels easier than the awkwardness of getting to know someone by spending time together? I really don't think there's a right answer here. I cannot emphasize that enough. Kiss all the you want and do it whenever you want. But if you're having trouble like trusting people and knowing why someone's there, why are they hanging out with you, I do think it can be a really helpful way to feel more confident about what is the truth of this dynamic. That's all. Okay. Wow, this is possibly one of the crazier things I've done, but it's the best. Let's talk about record keeping, okay? I need to keep files on people. You heard me right. I keep files on people. Yes, I do. And that is because I'm not great at trusting myself. I'm not great at trusting my instincts. I found that I cannot be trusted to listen to my instincts. I cannot be trusted to pay attention to the information that is given to me. So I gotta keep a record. I gotta write it down or record it or make the data concrete, quantifiable in a way that I can't ignore it. So specifically, this is what I would do. I like to do voice memos because I can talk very fast, much faster than I can write. So I would record a voice memo on my phone before the date, and I would say, gonna meet, what's a stupid name? Terry. Gonna meet Terry. I'm sorry Terry if you're a Terry watching this video. It's a silly name to me. Gonna meet Terry. My impressions of Terry based on his profile are XYZ. You go on the date. After the date, I make another voice memo and I say, which of these things were true? Which of these things was I wrong about? And also, like, how did I feel? Sitting at the date with him, like, I felt respected, I felt awkward, I felt nervous, I felt stressed, and like, it's normal to feel a bunch of things on a first date. First dates are hell. You know, maybe we go on a second date, we're giving him a chance. After the second date, leave a voice memo. How did that go? How did it leave me feeling? And what I found is like the themes emerge. The themes emerge. The clues, the information is in there. You feel it on the date, and it's a really good way of starting to build confidence in your instincts, confidence in that like you actually know how someone makes you feel. They might be attractive and successful and accomplished and well-mannered, but they always kind of leave me feeling like dirt. And that pattern will emerge there over time. The first time I started doing this with a guy, it was the first guy I like went on a date with after a 6-year relationship. And so I felt I didn't feel confident in like how to date. I couldn't even remember how to do it really. And I started recording the voice memos even without like going back to listen to them. I don't know, it's just something I started doing. And then a few weeks into dating him, I found myself in tears at some point. I felt, you know, so upset about whatever. I wasn't feeling good. And for some reason I went back and listened to the voice memos, and the pattern of this guy not making me feel good was in there from date number 1. It was in the voice memos. At the end of the date, I felt this way. After date 2, great banter, great fun, great chemistry, but I kind of felt this negative way. It was in every single date. And it was really helpful in a moment where I was like spiraling and anxious and kind of having a meltdown to be able to like look back and see like this guy has made me feel this way consistently the whole time. That's something I could get in my head about and be like, oh, but he is nice. Oh, but he is respectful. Oh, but I don't think he's a terrible guy. Yeah, he doesn't have to be a terrible guy for the dynamic to leave you feeling less than good. Keep a file, keep notes so that A, you can't whitewash what's happening just because you think he's cute. B, you don't get to gaslight yourself out of what you already knew. And C, it helps you identify patterns quicker. The patterns are there, the information is there from the beginning. Keep a file. I don't care if it's psychotic. Like, if it helps you identify patterns faster, be better at like taking notes and kind of being a detective, not just a detective about them, but a detective about yourself. That's what's so hard, is like learning to note what you yourself are feeling and feeling confident in your own experience. Keep a record, dude. It helps. Listen, dating is work. It's hard work, blah, 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 blah. It's hard work, it takes a lot of energy, and it leaves me kind of hungry. And when I'm a hungry girl, I go to Green Chef. Also because I'm not very good at feeding myself, so Green Chef makes that easier. They're sponsoring today's video, and this is why I freaking like them. Green Chef has been one of my longest running sponsors for this channel, and it's pretty simple. It's just extremely convenient. It's high quality food. It's delivered to my door, and like, yes, Green Chef has a lot of delicious, nutritious recipes, clean ingredients, organic fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, and they really limit processed ingredients so you can feel really good about what you're eating. But like, most important to me, everything is pre-portioned, sauces are pre-made. It's just like the easiest it gets. And that's the only way that I can tolerate meal prep. Today I made this creamy cilantro chicken salad. It took me 10 minutes. Count them, 10. My favorite is their new quick and easy recipes. where I can prioritize what I'm eating and eat well, but it's all under 25 minutes. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Green Chef to me is the only way that I will be cooking ever. It's just like, it just works for how I function. I truly don't have the organization to go out and like hunt down recipes and hunt down the ingredients. I don't think I really have the patience, so this works really well for me. There's no waste. You're not like buying a ton of produce, watching it rot and then throwing it away, and so you can replace it the next week. If you also feel like you're short on time, short on executive functioning, so short on organization, and you want to try Green Chef, use my code Caroline50. You can get 50% off and free shipping. Go to greenchef.com for more details. I'm gonna put a link in the video description. It's super easy, it makes my life possible. And Green Chef has been an amazing supporter of this channel. I really recommend everybody checks them out. It's been the most positive experience. Thank you to Green Chef for sponsoring. And go check them out. I've only ever had one big and glaring regret in dating. There's only one. The only thing I've ever regretted in dating is moments when I did not treat someone with respect. I don't think you will ever regret choosing to treat someone with respect, choosing to be kind to someone, whether or not they deserve it. The only moments I ever regretted was when I lowered my own behavior and wasn't kind to somebody. And it was usually, it was usually for a reason, in a moment where I felt insecure, where I felt they were treating me poorly. That's usually when it happens, some kind of player is making you feel bad, making you feel disposable. And so it's easy then to be defensive or say something kind of bitchy, or maybe say something that'll put them down or make them feel a little insecure, or to act like you don't really care. I think it can be really easy to fall into playing to someone's level. When you're in a toxic dynamic where someone's playing games, it's really easy to play games back. Those are truly the only things I've ever regretted. I don't regret getting my heart broken. I don't regret experiencing rejection, experiencing disappointment. I don't regret being treated poorly, even. What's to regret? It's out of my control, and it's kind of gonna happen with dating. The only thing I regret is ever lowering my own standard for how I want to treat people. And let me be clear, treating people with kindness and respect while continuing to respect yourself, you're trying to balance both. It doesn't mean that they're going to choose you. It doesn't mean they're going to love you. It doesn't mean that they're going to respect you, and it doesn't mean they're going to be good to you. It's really not about that. I think it can build your self-esteem, your confidence, and your respect in yourself to know that no matter what someone does to me, I'm still going to treat them with respect. I'm still going to treat them kindly. And eventually I will find the match who will meet me with that. And it is hard, treating people kindly no matter what doesn't mean ceasing to protect yourself and ceasing to look out for your own safety and well-being. It's a fine balance. I find it really hard both to treat myself with respect and to always treat others with respect. Both are extremely difficult. And I think the key is to be trying to do both at all times. You're probably not going to be able to do both at all times, but trying. Let's say a guy kind of negs you. And so you kind of neg him, say something bitchy in a flirty but put down way to make him also feel insecure. And then he might really judge you for that. But then to have that feeling of oh, that's not even really who I am. I was doing that reactively just because you did it. That's a terrible feeling because you're not showing up as yourself. But if you show up as yourself and you treat people well and you're showing up as the person you want to be, the person that you can endorse and stand behind, and then someone rejects you, it still hurts, but it feels very different. It's oh, you didn't like the version of me that I think is really respectable. It's disappointing, but then I respect you a little less. Then I want you a little less. So I think it actually helps with rejection, which is going to happen for everybody, to just insist as much as you can as showing up as the person that you can stand behind. It makes the rest a lot easier. Okay, let's get back to some kind of unhinged dating advice. If you're someone who finds it hard to like be yourself when you're nervous on a date, you're nervous on a date, and it's like hard to be yourself, and you get in that mode where you're like, I don't even know how to have conversation. Like, what does one say? Like, what does one say? Have I ever made a joke before? Do I have any stories to tell? It's almost like my mind is immediately vacant, and all I can do is like look at your pretty ass face, and I have like, it's like I've never had a thought in my life. I don't know how to be right here. I don't know how to be. Not good. I'm not being myself. A lot of people's advice is like, well, you just need to know that like you're the best and you should show up as whoever you are, and if they don't like it, then, you know, so what? Then like hit the road, Jack. These kinds of affirmations, they don't work for me. They don't work for me. I don't know who they work for, but positive affirmations have never worked for me. What does work for me is to imagine the worst case scenario, and that's where my power is. Before a date, if I'm feeling too nervous, I like to visualize that they have already dumped me. This person has already dumped me. This person has already rejected me, already humiliated me. Because I found that when a guy I was so intimidated by and was like changing myself so much in order to impress them, and was like trying to like figure out what kind of girl I needed to be to like get their approval, I found that once they dumped me, I was like, I could look at them and be like, God, you're such a loser. Like, why was I trying so hard to impress you? Nothing about you is interesting. You're not nice. You're not a kind person. I'm so much funnier than you. You don't have any hobbies. I actually think I'm cuter than you. It's just like, what is it about you? What is it about you that I was so entranced by? Like, it's just a vibe sometimes, right? It's just confidence maybe. And I'm not an overly confident person, so confidence would always trump me. But as soon as they broke up with me or made me feel rejected in some way, I was suddenly able to like see my own value and see how ridiculous the power dynamic was. And then I could just show up and be myself. I could always then show up and be myself. So there's probably a lot of toxic parts to that. But if you're someone who doesn't benefit from positive affirmations, here's a negative one. Sit there and visualize this person's already broken up with you. Because really what it does is it releases this anxiety of having to keep them. Just imagine they're already fucking gone. Then what would you say? Then how would you act? If you knew for sure that this person was not going to remain in your life, and instead it's just like a lunch you're having, and either you get to enjoy the lunch or not, and either way they're gone forever at the end, it's a lot easier to like figure out what you want to talk about, what you want to joke about, how you want to show up. And you have to be careful, like, don't start treating them dismissively or like flippantly. It's not about treating them differently. Still treat people with respect, but it's about letting yourself relax and like eliminating these imaginary stakes in your head. In my head, the stakes are always so freaking high, it's intolerable. I'm so intolerable, but this is something that helped me. If you take nothing else away from this, remember that like it is rare to find connection. If you got 100 best friends, first of all, no you don't. No you don't. It is rare to find really true deep connections with people. Platonically, romantically, it does just take time. Dating sucks for a while. It should, because if you're looking for something real, like most of it won't be that. So don't let that discourage you. Also, rejection and disappointment are just a part of the game. It's not a failure. It's not a reflection on you. And it doesn't even necessarily mean that you're like doing something wrong. It's just a guaranteed part of like trying out different matches. So I think it's really important to balance like, you know, continuous self-reflection, continuing to want to like learn from your mistakes. I'm going to keep making mistakes my whole life, I promise. But also balancing that with like knowing that rejection is an important, like an imperative part of the experience. It's okay. Everyone gets rejection. Like, I try to hurdle myself towards rejection. The more you do it, the more you learn you'll survive it. It's really fine. If you wanna listen to me run my mouth more, I just did an entire deep dive on dating with my dear friend Jess. On our podcast, Not For Everyone, we just did a whole dating specific episode. I'm gonna link that episode here. We get into a lot more personal stuff there because it just feels easier. Sometimes YouTube is really scary. I found like the podcast is a safer place. So if you want a deeper dive on the dating stuff, go check out the podcast because sometimes it's scary to do it on YouTube. That's all I'm gonna say. Most importantly, I really do believe, all the cynics of the world are gonna disagree with me on this, but I really do believe that things fall into place when you're good to people and you put yourself out there and you try stuff. Stop comparing yourself to other people's timelines, and just work on like practicing showing up as the person that you can endorse. Showing up as a person that you can really stand behind. Treating people well, respecting yourself, putting yourself out there, trying new things, and it's gonna be okay. I really do promise. Godspeed. Actually, you know what we could do, Paige? You wanna save bloopers to do a blooper reel at the end? Yeah. Haha, yeah, let's try it. Hi, Paigey. Hi, Paige. I'm excited about this one. It should be pretty tight. Let me get situated here. Okay, baby, here we go. This video is about all the and we are gonna bleep that. Okay, I need to stop interrupting myself. Sorry, Paige. You know what a blooper reel is. Okay. Wait, how do I want to do this one? Wait, is this guy just here for the kisses? Because guess what? The kisses are good. Maybe don't put that in, Paige. Trying to be concise as fuck. There's a lot of noise outside, but that's just what it is. Hold on, I got distracted. What was I talking about? Excuse me. Wow. Okay. Which is it best to have the hair on? I don't really know what my point is, but let me see. What is my point? I think that's cute. I think that's pretty cute. How do I want to do that last line? Godspeed. 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 No, I need to do a little smirk. Godspeed. Those are all pretty creepy, Paige. I don't even think that was a wink, really. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Okay.